It looks like we might be live. Yeah, looks like it. Hey, there we go. Good stuff. Let me do a quick thing really fast. Copy that. Let me see here. I was going to try and copy the stream. Send out a link to this. Yeah, there we go. Let's copy that link. I'm going to send this out to my Facebook page really fast and let people know that the live is happening. Just give me 1 second here while I'm typing. Normally, it gives me the opportunity to paste this stuff, but maybe not. Here we go. Shaboopy. Okay. Not creating an ad. Not doing that. No ads for me. Not this guy. All right. Got that technical work done. Give me a second. Let me get my stream back up here. Got it. Bam. Boom. Bam. Bam. I don't know what happened. It was weird. All right. Technical stuff is taken care of. The stream is live. We're all ready to go. Hey, my name's Tim. This is the Corvus Cast. How the... Oh, yeah. It's been a great week. Lots of cool things have happened. Lots of huge things have happened for Corvus Saber Foundry. And we're about to launch into them real quick. I'm going to take an opportunity here and let you know that if you're just now joining me and you don't know how business works with Corvus Saber Foundry, you should. A lot of it happens on Discord. In fact, a lot of conversation happens on Discord, so much so that I probably don't get actual real work done at my day job. I don't know. I don't want to say that too loud and incriminate myself, but yeah. If you aren't a member of the Discord and you're joining the chat tonight, down in the chat for YouTube, there's a link to the Discord. Feel free, come join. If you're already in the Discord, welcome and thank you for coming and thank you for communicating with me. It's the primary mechanism by which I communicate, and I should say by that pretty regularly and often. I'm pretty much tied to it the whole time. In fact, I love Discord. I love the chat room capabilities of it, and I like it. Kind of reminds me of like IRCQ, or I think it's MIRC, IRCQ, and there's a couple other ones that are floating around, like back in the day, way back. I'm dating myself now. Anyways, lots of things going on. There's lots of stuff happening. I got a whole paper full of paper items to talk about. I probably should have a list on my screen, but I don't have a teleprompter. I'm really bad about that. But we talked about the welcome to Discord package, or excuse me, the Discord plugging. We're talking about parts. We've got so many parts. Parts. In fact, I've got so many parts, I don't even know that I can keep them straight, and I don't know if you guys can even keep them straight, to be totally honest with you. Let's see, there's the wind vane thin neck insert that we've got coming. I've got pictures of it. Actually, I'm going to have video of it for you here in just a minute. I showed it last week. I'm going to show it again this week, so hopefully someone will take a shine to that. I know that thin necks aren't everybody's thing, but it's been a sticking point in my craw for a while that we don't have a good, capable thin neck that has options. And if you know me, I like options. And then, let's see, the bend and the mechanical adapters. So got bad news and good news about that piece. The infinite adapter, which the sample of which is going to be coming with the Obi-Wan Kenobi, or excuse me, the wind vane insert. And so that's supposed to be arriving sometime next week, probably midweek. So I'll probably have it in hand by June 1st. We'll call it June 1st. That's probably a good time frame. So the infinite adapter samples, and then I also ordered another set of another set of adapters that I wanted to use to round out my adapters for a really long time, and it hasn't been moving very quickly for me, and so I just decided to shotgun a bunch of parts at it in the hopes that we'll get some to arrive soon. And so then we'll talk about a little bit of what's coming next, and then if we have time, we'll do a Let's Design, but there's a lot of stuff happening today, so let's go ahead and launch into it. I'm going to swing over here to the right side, so we're going to wipe. Whoop, I went the wrong way. Hold on a minute. Let me do that again. There we go. All right, let me pull this back here. Sorry for the joltiness. Sorry for the craziness, but I want to talk about this thing really fast. So we got 5 new parts that are arriving in the next week or so I talked about. And those parts are the wind vane insert. Gosh, I had a brain fart there. Stop thinking for a second. So just like all of the other thin neck inserts that we have, typical threading is about 6 millimeters, which is quite a bit more than competition at this point. It has this nice little torque chamfer, so it'll lock into place once you get it into the piece or into the item that you need it to be locked into. And so the cool part that I really like about these wind vanes is that you can swap out the outer ring on the wind vane. I don't think that there's a wind vane package, or I should say a wind vane thin neck anywhere on the market right now that allows you to do this, unless you do something with the original and replace the actual wind vane cover itself, which is basically just a press fit item on this. So if you don't know what this part is or what it's about, let me go ahead and show you. So back in the day, and I'm going to say, like, I think World War One, potentially, maybe even World War II. I'm not exactly sure. This part belonged to what's called a rifle grenade, and it fit on that part like this, and then linked into this, and that fit on the back end of your grenade body piece, basically. And if you don't know what those wind vanes are, why it's called a wind vane, it's called a wind vane because it actually was used to fin stabilize that grenade in flight. It actually put a spin on it. The wind vanes were actually tilted a little bit. So they put a spin on the grenade in flight so that it would stay stable and land on the target. The tip of it would be over here on this end, kind of, like the business end, we'll call it. So it fit on your end of your rifle like that. You shoot it, it falls and hits and does the thing. A little bit of history lesson there. Hopefully you guys saw all of that while I was explaining it. But essentially, the Obi-Wan Kenobi grip, as we know it, is composed of the fragmentation portion of the grenade and the wind vane element of it. And so you can see here, this is upside down. It's actually supposed to be the other way because this component allowed the wind to flow off of this and into the vane to keep it stable. And this element here, that flanged element that's shaped like that, actually had a real purpose. It was mechanically designed so that it would funnel the air through those veins and cause it to do that spin. And so that's why it looks the way that it looks on the Obi-Wan Kenobi sabers. It's upside down like that because that's actually the real way that was designed to fly and blow up and kill people. But anyways, we took it a step back, said, hey, we don't want to do those bad things. Let's make this some way we can take it apart and play with it, because I really like options. And so, if you know what the actual configuration for the Obi-Wan Kenobi is, it usually has this little divot up here at the top side. Mine's a little bit shallow. I figured I'd make it a little shallower than normal. But the threading on this wind vane set it allows it to go both ways. So you can put your wind vane cover on backwards as well. Upside down, I guess, if you want to call it, the other direction. And so this ridge line or this valley here would be the top end of your wind vane normally. So you would see it in this connection, in this configuration like that. And so you can flip that end. You can do all kinds of stuff, and we've got multiple versions of it. So the Obi-Wan Kenobi one can be flipped. There's a Luke one. And so this kind of channels the Luke design a little bit more closely. Gives the same shape. It also kind of cuts it off, but also shows pedigree. It kind of pays homage to who Luke's master was, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You can see the wind vane uncovered on the bottom. So it gives a little bit of a character element that you don't normally see on a Luke, but I think it's still pretty cool. If you like the Lukes, it wasn't really intended to replace the Luke. It was just more intended to capture the look, like the stylistic element of a Luke, basically. And I said, while I was at it, you know what? I might as well do a Leia as well. So I made a Princess Leia version too. And if you look at the Princess Leia lightsaber, she shares pretty much the same shape and wind vane properties that an Obi-Wan Kenobi does. I don't know why she does. But I made a Princess Leia looking wind vane cover as well. So this one mirrors what you see in episode, I think, 7 or 8 or 9 or something like that. I'm not 100% certain. I can't remember which one it was. You see her saber. I think it's 9 when they have that flashback of Luke training Leia. Anyways, so that works like that. Of course, these are all compatible with all of my other parts. So if you wanted to do a thin neck inside of a shroud, or probably won't work inside of that one, but if you want to do a thin neck in a shroud, the thin neck the outermost diameter of all these the wind vane covers are all 33 millimeters. So it will fit just like any other part inside of a shroud, or just like any other cylindrical parts inside of the shroud. basically perfectly. I don't want to say perfectly because there might be some hiccups here and there, but it's designed to do that. You can put it together with just about any part. I happen to have a body here that was building a sample for another customer with, and so what I'll do is I'll just put these pieces together here really quick and show you what I'm talking about, so you can get an idea. And I really like this Obi-Wan Kenobi base. It's one of my favorite parts because you can use it on both ends. I don't have a second one to show you, so you'd have to imagine it. But if you wanted to put an Obi-Wan Kenobi base on the end of both ends of one of these, I don't think that it would look that bad. Let me get this locked in here really quick. So there's a decent look at it. Let me move these out of the way. If I can get it to focus, there it goes. I guess kind of focusing. But you can get your, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi top and bottom. It fits just like all the other ones. So we'll throw one on here. We'll put together really quick. I guess we can throw together something really quick. This isn't going to be the right size or shape probably, but you know what? Let me swap this over. Let me change this from a female to a male. Female to a male end here, and we'll off to the races there. I like that the other way around. So it wasn't supposed to be a let's build. It's supposed to be a let me show you my stuff and talk about these other things. But here, there we go. That looks pretty good. If I could get the threads to start, golly. Ooh, little squeakiness there. There it is. Little decent example there with a thin neck on it. Pretty happy with that. And to show you that the shrouding works as it should. There you go. I don't know how you would attach this now at this point, but if you were to glue it in or do something along those lines, that'd probably be the best, a best case scenario in this situation. But you can put a shroud over top of the thin neck if you want to. You just have to figure out how to anchor it somewhere. So there's that. Not too shabby. I'm pretty proud of this one. I think that it's going to do a lot. If you are inclined to keep this in a certain configuration, so if you buy, one of these and you want to keep this ring in here, you might know when you're torquing this thing around, it might cinch it down really tight or loosen it up while you're doing work with it. You could put a little dot of like blue, like the lowest level block, like Loctite, the blue Loctite on one of these threads, and just give it a little snug so that it locks in, and let it sit for like an hour so that it would lock it up. And that way you won't loosen this up at all. And so in order to remove that or get that off, you would have to heat it up just a little bit with like a hair dryer. And I've done this in the past. I've used a hair dryer before to heat it up, stuck parts, and get them off. So it works okay. Not too bad. All right. I don't see any commentary or questions. I do see 2 people viewing. So, hey, thank you for joining me and welcome. I appreciate your time and your energy in the chat. Oh, I saw a love and a heart. Oh, I love you guys too. Woo. Cool. All right. Let's talk about other things. Let me swipe this to the other place. Let's see, which way is it going to go? Is it this way or this way? I don't know. Yep, there you go. There's a swipe. All right. We're in Autodesk now. We're going to talk about Fusion 360 and the stuff that we are talking about, I guess, here. So along with the Obi-Wan Kenobi, or not Obi-Wan Kenobi's, the Wind Vane. Oh, there he is. And besides the Wind Vanes, we got this part coming here. And this part here is the infinite adapter. And if you haven't heard me talk about this, I feel like you should have at this point because I've been saying a lot about it. One of the things that I think has been like plaguing us as builders in VHC is being stuck having to clock our parts with threads that feel like they're a mile long. They're like 14 turns, right? Like if you turn like half a turn with a hand, it's like 14 turns. It might not be that many. It's like 10 or 12 maybe. But it's like forever. It's a lot of threads. Oh, I'm sorry, John. I saw that you said I saw you said that the thin neck build is awesome. I appreciate that. But But like the threads on all of these parts, like this thread up here is like, it's like 7 millimeters or 6 millimeters of thread that you have to get through. And the thread, like the part only moves like 1 millimeter in for every turn, right? So like 29 by 1 thread pitch means that it's taking its time moving in, and it takes you like forever to get in there. So it's something that's been bothering us for a long time, like bothering, but plaguing us for a long time. It's something we've been dealing with. Most people, when they need to clock something, they either use timing shims, which is cool, but those things suck. And then the other part is to shave your parts down, right? So sometimes you only need like a fraction of a turn or something, and you have to lap your parts in a figure 8 on some sandpaper to reduce the threading on both ends of that. And so that is not a perfect science. It's not precise. It's honestly kind of frustrating and irritating to have to be able to do that. I've done it for like builds that end up staying together for a long period of time, or like permanent builds. But I think that if somebody's going to be doing work with those items on a regular basis, if you have to modify it like that, you're going to forever modify that part. It's never going to perform the same. And if you try to use it for another build, or you like to stick it together with another build, it's never ever going to be the same. So that kind of brought me down the thought process of this infinite adapter. And I'm not the first one to think of this thing. The concept of an infinite adapter basically was like something that's infinitely adjustable on axis, essentially. I believe that that TCSS has a version of this, but it's a little bit different. Mine, I tried to keep mine inline and with the same kind of concept that all my other parts have. So it still utilizes the same types of adapters. It still are similar adapter shapes, similar things, and it tries to keep the same inner diameter as well. So it maintains the 25, my 25.6 internal diameter, and it essentially allows users to make adjustments on the length of the Saber. I forgot to link this link in the chat for everybody. I put that into the roost for the live stream. So infinite adapter. Let's talk about it. I don't know that many people like know how this is supposed to work, or really what it is. I've got people that I've talked to that are like, I have to see it kind of in use to make sure I understand it. So I'm going to try and do a little quick demonstration of what this is supposed to be, and I'll leave it to you guys to make your judgment or pass judgment on what you think it's going to be like. So I got to grab a part out here really fast, and I think it's important to show it kind of like this. Normally I have my parts oriented on this like I guess east to west register. I'm kind of changing it to or I should say east to west with a southwest point. Wait, southeast point. I'm going to do this with a southwest point to hopefully like shed light on the shape and how this is supposed to work, right? So anyways, the infinite adapter is composed of 3 pieces. It's this lower piece, which I'm calling the infinite base, this upper piece, which I'm calling the infinite swivel, and then this additional third piece, which is called the infinite collar. And that collar is the really cool part of this. And so let me show you how this piece works. Let's see if I can get it this whole thing to move. I gotta get all this piece out here. Okay, so the infinite base is gonna thread into your components just like any other piece would, right? You're gonna stick it in and thread it and lock it into your parts just like that. Should fit normally, same way. It still has the 2.5 millimeter end on it that allows you to put accent rings and all kinds of stuff in there. Accent bands, whatever you might want to put on there. It just basically gives you the gap to be able to do additional like design work or pretty stuff, right? If you want it. You don't have to. The second element of this is the swivel. So I'll go ahead and grab that and drag it over here. And so it's really important to pay attention to this piece right here, these 2 parts, because what happens is there's a nested zone inside of this that anchors over top of this band. Okay, so let me get the swivel here, and I'll drag it over top of it and show you what that looks like. Okay, So that nests over top just like so, and you can see that there's a larger thread pattern on here that is going to interact with something, and that is the collar. So what ends up happening is this collar will slide over top of those components, just like we described, and thread on just like that. And when you thread that on, it's going to lock down the entirety of this swivel. It's not going to be able to move. And that's going to hold it in place. Now what that means is you thread that swivel into the component that you want to link to, or you want to use on the top side of your Saber. So like it could be an emitter, it could be, you know, whatever else you might think, another body component, something like that. But essentially the idea was to use this close to your emitter side so that you can clock your emitter in whatever way that you want. It's not perfect, but it is reminiscent of the accent rings that I have. So this is an accent ring shape. It does basically, it's actually the same exact diameter now that I look at it. Yeah, 36.15, so 36 and an eighth or so. But in order for this to work appropriately, let me see if I can grab something here. I might, let me see. See if I can find I just need a body component. I need a body segment. I'm going to grab out the knurled body segment because you'll see it move. This is important. So essentially what's going to happen is this body segment is going to fit to this component just like that. Oh, did I get my... There it is. It's going to fit to that component just like that. And when I loosen this collar, kind of like this, I'm going to turn that loose. That's going to free both the swivel and the components above it, right? So these pieces, if I can get them selected, so these pieces are now free to pivot around the axis, kind of like the lens, not lens, kind of like the focus on a camera, like that ring, right? So that will allow you to be able to adjust this in any direction about the axis of this part. And that way you can basically infinitesimally clock your emitter wherever you want to go. And so the intent is there, depending on, I guess, the sales and function of this kit, if people like it, people end up using it, I can make more of these rings, and I can even make them a little bit smaller. They're 36 and change. The thread on this, I believe, is 33. I'd have to double check it and see what it is. I think it's 33. It might even be 30. But I can make that ring a little bit smaller. I can make it a little bit bigger. It just depends on what people want. But the idea is that if you're holding your Saber down here on this component, you can loosen the ring up, pivot your upper assembly, and then lock that ring back down. And now you have a Saber that's correctly clocked in the position that you want it to be in. I can't think of anybody else that's done something like this on the market yet. So I'm trying to be among the first to make that happen. I think that it's going to be really cool. It does have kind of it does have a little bit of height to it. But the cool thing is I've got some other components over here. I just happen to have an accent ring out and available for play. And so you can stick an accent ring on basically all of these pieces. Wait. I'm going to flip it around the other way, 180 degrees. You basically put an accent ring on any of these ends that you want. This isn't a perfect fit. Man, I really screwed that up, didn't I? I guess that's close enough. If you want to put another accent ring on it, you can put another accent ring on it. If you want to put an accent sleeve, when more accent sleeves come online, you can put an accent sleeve on that end. You can put an accent sleeve on that end. You can basically make this as bulked up or thinned out as you want for the execution of whatever you want to do on your lightsaber. So my hope is that people will use it and find it useful. If you don't, that's okay too. Not that worried about it. I have another version of it that I would like to do that is also the same diameter as this, but it would be treated like it'd be treated more like a thin neck or a hybrid adapter in the sense that you would be able to adjust those, but it also would be a little bit more fiddly because it would have screws on the inside of it that you would have to use. Anyways, yeah, standby one. Okay, enough about the infinite adapter. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna test it. It's coming in the next week. So after I get done inventorying all the Obi-Wan Kenobi Vin Vein stuff, I'll have the infinite adapter available. I'll be able to play with it. I'll show you guys some builds with it, with the parts that I have on hand. And hopefully you'll get an idea on what it's capable of. And my hope is that it will work correctly the first time like I designed it. If it doesn't, I'm in trouble. I'm just kidding. The idea, I think I may have to do some minor edits to it to push the inner portion of that out just a little bit farther, so that it has more of a sleeve to sit on top of, to lock into. But we'll see what happens, how that works out, and we'll get her done. We'll get it sorted out. It's still in dev, so it's coming along, right? Let me get these infinite adapter elements out of here really quick. We don't need those anymore. We'll go ahead and talk about this. All right, so I got good news and bad news. I don't know if you guys are on or you want to talk about it, but bad news is the the curves and bends have been postponed, and the reason why is it's just ridiculously expensive, no matter which way I slice it, to build these bends. And I don't want to say postponed permanently or indefinitely. They're just postponed temporarily. And that's for me to figure out how I want to fund it. Because the way and the expense that I'm dealing with right now, it's just out of reach to be able to fund them personally out of pocket. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how each of these adapters land, and the Infinite and the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing before I start making a decision on which direction I want to take this. But the bend parts, which you're looking at here, is the final drawing or the final edit of these components, which I like these a lot better. I think that they look a lot cooler than what I had previously made, which is basically just a straight, simple bend. They kind of have this neat Count Dooku style embellishment in the middle of them, and I feel like they would be pretty comfortable to use if you were swinging them around playing lightsabers with them. But the same thing, I submitted kind of these three pieces together along with a third component, which was a mechanical adapter. I thought that they came out kind of cool, but the problem was like the mechanical adapter looked like it had been dragged along the floor of the factory, and it didn't really fill in correctly. It didn't really look that good, and that kind of sucks. I'm really sad about that, because I thought it could have been way better. Either way, the designs, the factory that I was talking to, they were not happy that I told them that their parts sucked, and so they said that they would remake them. So they remade them. They're actually shipped. They're in shipment to me right now, so I'll have another version of these. But basically the threading on them was so bad I could barely use them with any of my parts, much less give it to you guys as something to be produced as a production item. And so I was just frustrated with it, and so I decided to take that, I guess, to take the drawings, these drawings in particular, back to my original factory and talk to them. And they said that their price is basically going to be the same as their original price for the original set of parts that I had drawn. And so they're not terrible, but they're just a little out of reach, and they want a large purchase at one go for a single part. Instead of the normal 100 parts that I order, they want like 200 parts, which is a lot more than I want to shell out initially for a set of parts. That's just a ridiculously large amount of money. So I'm looking at options, and the options are: we do a pre-order. I've never done a pre-order before. I have pre-order software set up on the website to be able to handle pre-orders and get them prepped. But the downfall is that when somebody makes a pre-order on the website, it counts really badly against my time to fulfill. And so I have to defer them for a period of time until I can get them fulfilled. And the downside is these tend to be a really niche product, right? They're like, not very many people I don't think that very many people are going to use curved parts to begin with, and those that are very small in number. I think we probably have like 7 or 8 people in the Discord, and maybe 10 or 15 people on the web, like on the website in different places. I'm not sure that I have the people behind me to make the purchase of these parts a valid, like, possible thing right now. And, you know, I'm tipping my hand to my competition that decides to come and watch my videos, but, you know, like, I'm beginning to understand. I think that there's a reason why nobody has any other curved parts besides the 45, is because it's just too dang expensive to make curved parts from either CNC or the manufacturing mechanisms, or not, excuse me, manufacturing process to 3D print them is just not there to get good high quality prints, and prints that have good high quality cut threads. So I'm not really happy with all of those answers. I guess we'll figure it out in just a little bit. Man, the tea's going down good tonight. All right. Enough talk about the bends. That kind of sting. Actually, they need to stick around. That one's the original. I think the original item, maybe. Let's see. Let's unground that from the parent here. We'll get rid of these dudes. Nice. All right. So for everybody that's still around and listening here, there is one more set of parts that I put together and threw in. And you can kind of see them here. It's a 5-pack of adapters. And if there's one thing you should know about me, is that I love adapters. I love adapting things to the lightsabers, and I like using these adapters as areas of interest on the lightsaber. And so on the top end of your screen, there are adapters that are 30, 31.5, and 33. And the length of the land space there is 5.5 millimeters. Why 5.5, you ask? I don't know. I just didn't want to do 5 exactly. But the cool part about these is, and I think that they're going to be really useful for this particular bit, is putting them in between. There have been a bunch of times where I was building over here on my desk, and I said to myself, damn, if I don't have need of an adapter that's just a little bit longer. I need one that's just long enough that I can get 2 of my accent pieces together on it to make a really cool shape. And so that's what this 5.5 millimeter one, this 5.5 millimeter adapter is supposed to be. It's supposed to allow you to fit these other accent pieces together with just a little tiny gap in between them. There's going to be other ones later on as I start doing more of these adapters. But you would be able to fit these basically together with a really like a 0.5 millimeter gap, or maybe like 1.5 millimeters gap or something like that. A very tiny gap. So it gives the appearance of depth and allows you to do more work with the same type of parts that you have on hand. And so you can have these available in this 31 millimeter as well as the 30 millimeter, so you can get even more depth to those parts. I'm going to try to move these two together. Yeah, that looks good. So you can see how deeply those go. Obviously, you need to have a 33 millimeter part on either side of this when you put your parts together, because if you don't, these components will not fit very well on this adapter underneath. They'll slide kind of around on it. So you need to have a 33 millimeter part on one side or the other to register it so that it will work. And now, obviously, if I move this up here to this side, you'll have an even deeper well in between there, so it gives that heavy depth a heavy depth of deepness in between those components, and I think that that's going to look really, really cool once we start seeing them in builds. It's just another thing that's going to expand. And also excuse me, I didn't mean to cough on you there. I was outside in the elements today going troll hunting. If you guys don't know, there's a artist named Thomas Dambo who makes trolls. And he makes trolls out of recycled wood, and he puts them in a bunch of cool places. And so they recently put in about 4 of them in my area. And so my family and I went today to go explore those things. And saw the trolls in our area, and got a nice dose of pollen while I was at it. So my throat is not happy. It's busy. The important piece here I want to show you is this. I'll show you the... let's see here. Let me grab this body. I'm trying to see a body component that I want to get out here. I grab a type 2 and a type 1 just to give you a hint at what this could be. So one of the things that I really wanted to see was the ability to build a body component out of multiple pieces with that sort of depth that I've been talking about for a while in between parts, right? So if you use some imagination, you can think of this as a lower grip component and an upper grip component. It could go long like a 4 or even like a 5, or you could do like a type 3 on this end. You could drop a type 3 in this space and make a body component that is just a little bit accented here, where you have excuse me, where you end up having this this gap or this dip in between, and this is really what I made the adapter sets for in the first place, was to be able to build kind of this like layered, scaled, like grip section, or these grip elements, or even body elements. You could put, you know, 2 or 3 of these together and make a body element that is kind of unique. It's plain, but pretty unique in the sense that it has these divisions inside of it in different places, and you can put those wherever you want to. You're not stuck. You're not stuck with the shapes that these other companies are making for you. You get the opportunity to kind of build them all yourself. So I really, really like that kind of thought process with these. So I think these are going to be good. And again, if I show you my basic adapter sets here, I have another round of these that are prepared. Whoops, they're right there. I've got another round of these that are prepared. Here's the type 0. Here's the type 1s, A, B, and C that you see. Here's the type 5. These are going to be 5s, or 6 maybe. I think I've already got a type 5 up there. Yeah, I've got a type 5 already. Dang it. This was a really good opportunity to have this as a type 5. These will end up being like the type 6 or something along those lines. And then there's also some 7 millimeters down here as well. So you can start expanding these beyond. There's a 31, a 30, a 33, excuse me, a 30, 31, 33 in the 7.5, and then there's a 10 millimeters. They go up, they keep going up. So I have a lot more of these built so that we can use them for other things going forward in the future, right? I don't think I'm going to be on much longer. This was kind of just a perfunctory, let's get this done. I need to show you what's going on in the cast type of thing. I don't know if my voice is going to hold out much longer. All right, so I gave you the rundown on those 3 products here. We'll go ahead and look at the next piece, which are these 2 other elements. So if you guys remember way back, you got to go back in the Wayback Machine. I created the very first adapter, which was the type 1, and it ended up becoming the type 2 after I produced the type 1s. I'm not going to do a name change again. I'm just going to keep trucking on with the numbers, but these were the original iteration. Not this one here was the original iteration of that, what was the type 2. So this is just a 2-step ring, and then this is the same 2-step ring with a slightly longer top. Man, I am not hanging on worth a dang tonight. This is the same ring with a slightly longer top end to it. So the intent here is that they're pretty darn close to the same shapes and structures that we normally are used to. 2 1/4 there, not quite 2 1/4 on that one. And then these are just going to kind of be extra complement adapters to come along with this. It's think of it as like a fallback plan for the parts that fall through the gaps, and I don't have a week or a month to submit something. It's just I need to have some parts available, and I need them to be good additions to the spaces that we're working in. And so made these up. Again, these are not my let's see here. They're not my, I guess, not my first choice of parts, but they're going to be decent. I think that they're good showings. I think that they fit the same models that we've been using for quite a while. Gosh darn it, get out of here. All right, let's grab this and move it down here. Just to give you a gee whiz on what it would look like against some of these parts. The one that this is currently on, it is a 32 millimeter component. So if I click there, you'll see it in the lower, well, you can't see it because my freaking head's in the way, but it's a 32 millimeter adapter. It's not a 33 millimeter adapter, so keep that in mind when it comes out. I'll make sure I put it in the parts listing so that you know what these are. Again, really, really simple, but something that adds a whole lot of style Oh my God, I'm gonna have to call it off. Something that's really simple but adds a whole lot of style, just like the Type 2. It's one of my favorite looks. Is just that nice transition between a part. Steps up, steps down, allows it to move through. What we'll do is we'll move these two Type 3s over as well. Man, the air conditioner started running in here, and my throat is just not having it today. Let me drop this down just a little bit. Boom. Yep. And up. Okay, there we go. So you can kind of see really simple, super simple designs, super easy to work with, just like all the other bits and bobs that we've got. That's also a 32 millimeter component. So if you're going to use any sort of, if you use any sort of like little adapters or body, sorry, not body, accent rings or caps or something, they need to register against those parts. But really, I kind of thought of these as like standalone elements. You could put these on their own inside of a build, and they could stand just as strong as any other component on that build, because they are just accent pieces that add new shapes to those structures. So really excited about having these. Sorry, I got to keep shutting the mic off. Really happy about having these available to allow them to be used and stuck into builds. I think they're going to be nice additions. They aren't quite the diameter isn't quite the 33 millimeters, but if you treat them as standalones, they can be standalones, and they can be really, really useful. So we went over a lot. We went over a lot of stuff tonight. I'm going to come back. Come back to the top and talk about what all these things are. I lost my piece of paper. Where did it go? Nope, that is the paper. So discuss the wind vane. That thing is going to be coming in the next week or so, probably the top of June. At this point, the bends and mechanical adapter are kind of on hold until I get that whole process figured out. The infinite adapter sample is coming with this next round. These adapters, these 5 adapters actually, are all going to be showing up all at the same time as part of the same package, because they were submitted at the same time, and they were done as a rapid thing, because I've gotten pretty confident with my factory's capability to produce these parts. So they were done. They should be here. I would wager they're going to be done in the next probably 2 weeks or so. I would bet. I'm going to ask the question of them and find out where they're at. Gotta find out from the factory where they're at in that step. And so some of you guys might be asking, like, what's coming next? And to be honest with you, I haven't exhausted everything, like all the tricks of the bag this year. But stuff that's on my list of things to get done this year are accent sleeves, because we haven't had a new accent development in probably over a year at this point. And so we need something new to punch it up and vitalize it. I had gotten some quotes previously that were pretty expensive, and so if the next set of parts all does pretty well and it kind of snowballs into something bigger, then we'll start looking towards those accent sleeves as well as other items. And then another set of pieces that I'm looking at are switches. And if you guys know me, I've been talking about this for a long time. I don't like the AV switches. I know that people do. I just am not a big fan of them. I think that they lose a little bit of verisimilitude, like my immersion with interaction with my sabers and seeing other people use them. And so my goal has been for a long time to hide them. And so I'm working on a set of switches. Working on a set of switches that are tactile, or tactile replacements, which basically will cover up the AV switches. It'll cover up the AV switches and use like a tactile like plunger that will go through the Saber body, through the switch body, into that space. So more to come on that. That might be another discussion, and if you go back a couple of Corvus casts, you might see it. I've talked about it a couple times, explained it, what it is and what it do, how it works. And I got people kind of on my back too, asking questions about how to make cores for something like that. So it's up in the air. Got all the junk at the bottom of my tea. Delicious. Anyways, I really would like to keep going on this cast, but my voice is not letting me continue the discussion. I am coughing a lot, and it is quite irritated. So I'm actually going to leave you guys with this. This is what we built earlier today. We put together this thin neck build relatively quickly using the new wind vane components. Just a really simple build. So there's 5 new components that are coming with that, and they'll be here in about a week. I'm really looking forward to getting them launched. I really appreciate everybody that came to the cast, everybody that attended, everybody that contributed to the chat, everybody that's in the Discord and enjoying time with me and everybody else. And your contributions are valued and welcome additions to what we're building here at Corvus Saber Foundry. So I just want to say I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for your attendance and time. And I'm going to get out of here. It's time to go. See you guys later. I love you guys. I'll see you. Go.